Have you ever stopped to think that the way you think might be exactly what's keeping you from the wealth you deserve? Today, you're going to discover a hidden secret, a mystery about the power of thought that few people dare to reveal. If you believe that simply thinking positive is enough, I'm here to tell you, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a complete formula, and it has the power to transform your life forever. In this video, I'm going to reveal 10 secrets that no one else is talking about. Secrets that could finally unlock your millionaire potential. And I guarantee, if you watch until the end, you'll understand why so many people stay stuck, while others seem to prosper almost like magic. Before we dive in, a special invitation. If you feel deep inside that you were born to live the best this world has to offer, if you believe you were meant to be rich, prosperous, and abundant, then subscribe to the channel right now. I'm Prospero. Join a community that believes in the power of the mind and action. And starting today, your life will never be the same. Get ready. Your journey toward prosperity starts now. A 5-second message. Are you in debt? Want to know how to always have money? After watching this video, click the first link below, in the description or the pinned comment. Discover the Live Always with Money method. Find out the 10 steps that are changing lives. Link in the description and pinned comment. And for you, the one who knows you were born to be a millionaire, to be rich, I invite you to discover how to get rich through the power of thought. Access the method in the description. Golden Mindset, 30 Steps to Wealth Through the Power of the Mind. The first thought of the day might be keeping you poor, and how to change it. The hidden power of your first morning thought. Every morning, before you fully open your eyes, your mind whispers a message. That first, seemingly insignificant thought carries enormous weight. It acts as the invisible architect of your day, silently drafting blueprints for your emotions, decisions, and actions. Yet, most people move through this moment unconsciously, unaware that they are shaping their destiny with a fleeting mental spark. Your initial morning thought holds raw, unfiltered energy. In the seconds between sleep and wakefulness, your brain is in a highly suggestible state, operating at low-frequency brainwaves known as theta. During this delicate window, your subconscious mind is wide open, ready to absorb, accept, and internalize whatever you offer it without resistance. That's why the thought you entertain first thing in the morning has a disproportionately large influence over your mood, your productivity, your choices, and even your financial outcomes. When the first thought is negative, I'm exhausted, nothing ever works for me, here comes another struggle, you unknowingly invite more of that vibration into your experience. You instruct your subconscious to seek, create, and affirm circumstances that match that low frequency. Negative initial thoughts don't just sour your mood, they wire your brain to expect disappointment, hardship, and scarcity throughout the day. As your expectations dim, your actions follow, often leading to self-sabotage, missed opportunities, or poor decisions that reinforce the original gloomy belief. On the other hand, a first thought anchored in empowerment rewires everything. When you wake up thinking, today is filled with possibility, or I am abundant, no matter what, you plant a powerful seed in the fertile soil of your mind. This seed shapes perceptions, interactions, choices, and responses. You carry an aura of expectation that magnetizes opportunities, solutions, and inspired ideas. People sense your energy, often responding in kind, unknowingly participating in the reality you're commanding into existence. The first thought is more than an idea. It's a declaration. It announces to your subconscious what to prioritize. Your brain's reticular activating system, RAS, the mental filter that determines what information gets your attention, tunes itself according to this first mental signal. If you tell it that life is hard, your RAS will spend the day proving you right, filtering for evidence of hardship. But if you set the tone for abundance, ease, or gratitude, your mind becomes a magnet for confirming experiences. You literally sculpt your reality based on the silent decision made before you even leave your bed. Understanding the sacredness of your first thought gives you immense creative control. You can pre-program your morning mind to default toward expansion rather than contraction. This requires intention, not accident. It calls for conscious choice rather than habitual reaction. Crafting a first thought the night before, preparing a mantra, or placing a powerful question beside your bed to ponder upon waking are ways to seize this moment with deliberate precision. Moreover, the compounded effect of controlling your first thought is staggering. One empowered morning after another builds momentum, stacking belief upon belief, confidence upon confidence. Over weeks, months, and years, This practice reshapes your self-identity, elevates your self-worth, and aligns you vibrationally with wealth, love, health, and fulfillment. Success ceases to be a battle. It becomes a natural extension of who you are being each morning when you first emerge from sleep. Ignoring the importance of the first thought is like surrendering the pen that writes your life story to randomness. But honoring its hidden power transforms you into the deliberate author of your destiny. Each sunrise offers a new blank page. Each awakening whispers a choice. Will you unconsciously relive yesterday's limitations, or will you consciously ignite today's possibilities? The hidden power of your first morning thought is not just motivational fluff. It's neuroscience, it's energetic law, it's the foundation of lasting transformation. Master it and you master your life. A 5-second message. Are you in debt? Want to know how to always have money? After watching this video, click the first link below, in the description or the pinned comment. Discover the Live Always with Money method. Find out the 10 steps that are changing lives. Link in the description and pinned comment. And for you, the one who knows you were born to be a millionaire, to be rich, I invite you to discover how to get rich through the power of thought. Access the method in the description. Golden Mindset, 30 Steps to Wealth Through the Power of the Mind. How morning thoughts become your money blueprint. In the first few minutes after waking, your mind is like wet cement. Impressionable, moldable, sensitive to whatever imprint you choose to press upon it. This brief, critical window defines more than just your emotional state. It quietly lays down the architecture for your financial reality. During these early moments, the subconscious mind, responsible for over 95% of your behavior, is wide open, absorbing whatever thoughts you feed it without judgment, resistance, or analysis. Every repeated idea during this period acts like a chisel, carving patterns into your mental landscape. When morning after morning you wake with thoughts like, I'm always struggling, nothing ever works out for me, or success is for others, not me, you unknowingly create invisible blueprints. These mental blueprints guide your perceptions, decisions, habits, and risk tolerance regarding money. They determine how you react to opportunity, how much wealth you allow yourself to receive, and even how comfortable you feel when financial abundance starts to appear. Subconscious beliefs about money aren't formed in dramatic, isolated events. They are crafted in quiet, daily repetitions. Morning after morning of internalized scarcity hardwires an expectation of limitation. This expectation leads to actions that unconsciously align with lack. Missed chances, procrastination, low self-worth, self-sabotage, undervaluing your skills, rejecting potential gains without realizing why. You aren't failing because you lack talent or effort. You're simply following an internal script written when your defenses were down. Now, imagine harnessing this fragile, golden moment instead. Imagine waking up and immediately affirming thoughts like, money flows easily to me, I am a magnet for success, abundance is my natural state. These empowering beliefs don't just make you feel better temporarily, they become part of your structural foundation. Over time, these positive imprints form sturdy blueprints that shape not just perception, but behavior. You start noticing opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You instinctively move toward choices that increase value. You become willing to invest in yourself, negotiate higher worth, pursue bigger goals. Neuroscience shows that neurons that fire together wire together. Morning thoughts create neural connections that grow stronger with each repetition. By intentionally planting wealth-focused thoughts first thing, you literally re-engineer the pathways of your brain to expect, create, and sustain prosperity. Financial success is no longer a far-off dream. It becomes a natural consequence of your internal design. Importantly, the content of your first thoughts matters. General positivity has some benefit, but targeted money affirmations sculpt a financial blueprint with precision. Statements about wealth, success, opportunity, and worth train your subconscious to normalize these experiences. Eventually, abundance stops feeling foreign. It starts feeling familiar, expected, even inevitable. Consistency is the secret. One morning won't change your destiny, but weeks and months of deliberate mental construction will. Every sunrise becomes an opportunity to reinforce your wealth programming or slip back into old scarcity patterns. Winning the first 5 to 10 minutes of consciousness is like winning the opening move in a chess game. It creates cascading advantages that compound throughout the day. The environment where your first thoughts occur also amplifies the blueprinting effect. Keeping positive financial reminders visible, writing affirmations by your bedside, and avoiding negative inputs like news or complaints early in the day can shield your mind from counterproductive influences. You become the guardian of your financial consciousness, deciding what seeds take root. Understanding that your financial journey begins not with action, but with thought, redefines the entire game. Bank accounts, investments, and opportunities are external reflections of an internal construction project. Your mind is the master builder. Your early morning thoughts are the blueprints. Choose them carefully, nurture them consistently, and you will inevitably see your outer financial world mirror the abundance you've designed within. Your money future isn't shaped by luck. It's shaped by the silent choices you make when the world is still quiet and your mind is still fresh. Master the blueprint, and prosperity becomes not just possible, it becomes unavoidable. The energy of scarcity versus the vibration of wealth. Thoughts extend far beyond mental chatter. They embody potent energetic forces. Every thought carries a frequency, an unseen signal broadcast into the fabric of reality. When your mind awakens saturated with fear, insecurity, or deficiency, your energetic field contracts. It becomes dense, resistant, heavy. This contraction mirrors the essence of scarcity, a state that magnetizes more struggle, limitation, and emotional turmoil into your experience. Scarcity is not merely the absence of resources. It is a pervasive frequency that distorts perception. When anchored in scarcity, opportunities appear threatening instead of promising. Risks seem insurmountable. Creativity suffocates under the weight of imagined lack. Even abundance, when it arrives, is mistrusted or sabotaged because the dominant energetic signature cannot receive what it believes it doesn't deserve. This invisible energy impacts interactions, choices, negotiations, and investments. It's present in the hesitation to ask for more, in the impulse to settle for less, in the fear of stepping into bigger arenas. It informs body language, voice tone, eye contact, all subtle signals that communicate belief about worthiness and possibility without a single word being spoken. Conversely, the vibration of wealth operates on an entirely different frequency. Wealth energy expands, opens, and invites. It is not solely the possession of material riches but the energetic embodiment of sufficiency, opportunity, and overflowing possibility. When your first thought each morning declares alignment with wealth, you broadcast openness to receive, to grow, to thrive. Wealth vibration does not deny present circumstances. It transcends them. It acknowledges current reality without becoming imprisoned by it. Those tuned into the frequency of abundance feel resourceful even when challenges arise. They radiate certainty even in uncertainty. They act from a place of inner fullness rather than external validation. This energetic posture influences outcomes long before actions are taken, because energy precedes manifestation. Training your morning thoughts to harmonize with wealth requires conscious emotional engagement. It's not enough to merely recite words. You must embody the feeling behind them. Genuine gratitude, unshakable trust, elevated expectation. These emotional states charge your energetic field with the resonance of prosperity. Feeling wealthy, even before external evidence appears, accelerates attraction. It bends probability toward favorable outcomes. Wealthy individuals across industries, cultures, and generations unconsciously or consciously master this principle. Their mornings are sacred rituals where mental rehearsal and emotional tuning align with futures richer than their pasts. They practice seeing themselves already victorious, abundant, limitless, regardless of what temporary conditions suggest. Their internal state creates a gravitational pull that external events cannot resist. The contrast between scarcity and wealth is not moral. It is vibrational. It is the difference between a radio set to static and one tuned perfectly to a clear, powerful signal. Scarcity thoughts scatter energy, leak focus, dilute ambition. Wealth thoughts concentrate intention, amplify action, magnetize collaboration. Mastering this energetic dynamic transforms more than finances. It rewires how you engage with life itself. Relationships shift. Health improves. Creativity flourishes. Purpose deepens. Because wealth is holistic, it touches every corner of existence, not just bank balances. Aligning with the vibration of wealth begins with micro-decisions repeated daily. It's choosing to direct emotional energy toward expansion rather than contraction. It's cultivating a mental environment where possibilities feel more real than obstacles. It's refusing to worship current limitations as permanent truth. Each morning presents a crossroads, to re-enter the dense gravity of scarcity or to ascend into the luminous atmosphere of abundance.
The choice is not dictated by external conditions. It is made in the sacred quiet of your first thoughts, the birthplace of every future you will ever live.
Scarcity shrinks the soul. Wealth liberates it. Your energy decides which world you inhabit. Why most people stay poor without realizing it. Poverty, for the vast majority, is not a conscious choice but the inevitable consequence of deeply ingrained mental patterns. From the moment they open their eyes, countless individuals unknowingly reactivate the same beliefs, fears, and emotional responses that have kept them tethered to scarcity. These loops are subtle, habitual, and invisible to those living inside them. The tragedy lies in the fact that effort alone cannot override mental programming. Waking up early, working multiple jobs, pushing harder, none of it can outpace a mind conditioned to expect struggle. The external grind becomes a reflection of internal belief systems that whisper, "You'll never have enough. Life is always a battle. Money is for others, not you." These beliefs run silently in the background, scripting behaviors and decisions long before awareness can intervene. Most people replay yesterday's defeats without realizing it. Financial mistakes, rejections, hardships, they carry the emotional residue of these events into the new day, projecting old wounds onto fresh opportunities. Instead of seeing possibilities, they anticipate obstacles. Instead of envisioning breakthroughs, they brace for breakdowns. The mind, seeking consistency, recreates familiar pain because it feels safe in its predictability, even if that safety costs prosperity. This automatic cycle of thought is not fueled by laziness or ignorance but by neurological wiring. Neural pathways carved by years of repetition make scarcity thinking feel natural, even logical. These mental circuits resist change because the brain prioritizes familiarity over growth. Breaking free requires disrupting this autopilot, not merely inspiring temporary bursts of motivation. Survival-based thinking dominates the mental landscape of those trapped in poverty consciousness. Thoughts focus on immediate needs, fear of loss, risk aversion, and defensive strategies. Thriving, which demands vision, risk-taking, and trust in unseen possibilities, becomes neurologically inaccessible when survival is the dominant frame. Prosperity demands expansion. Survival demands contraction. The two cannot coexist. To break the loop, radical awareness is essential. The first battle is not external. It is internal. Observing morning thoughts without judgment, noticing recurring themes of limitation, and consciously choosing to insert expansive ideas interrupts the unconscious flow. Each deliberate choice weakens the old circuitry and lays the groundwork for a new mental paradigm. However, this shift is neither quick nor comfortable. It demands persistence against the gravitational pull of old identities. It requires rejecting the inner narrative that says, "This is just how life is." It calls for bravery to imagine abundance where none seems evident, to act wealthy while circumstances scream otherwise, to believe in unseen potential with no immediate evidence. The reason most people remain poor is not external oppression alone, but the internal acceptance of limitation as truth. Systems, economies, and environments influence outcomes, but the most persistent chains are forged within the mind. Those who escape do so not because they find magic shortcuts, but because they confront and dismantle the invisible prisons constructed by habitual thought. It is easier to blame circumstances than to challenge one's deepest assumptions. It is more comfortable to curse the world than to question internal narratives. True transformation requires moving from unconscious reaction to conscious creation. It requires designing mornings, shaping thoughts, and mastering emotional responses before the world outside has a chance to dictate them. Until the loop is broken, poverty perpetuates itself effortlessly, generation after generation. Yet, the moment awareness dawns and conscious thought begins to replace conditioned reaction, the foundation of limitation starts to crumble. From that crack in the mental armor, new realities are born. The difference between a life of scarcity and a life of abundance is not external opportunity. It is internal permission. The poor stay poor because they unknowingly reaffirm the beliefs that poverty demands. The wealthy thrive because they consciously cultivate the beliefs that abundance requires. Freedom begins with recognizing the silent architect of experience. Thought. How to catch and replace a poverty thought in 5 seconds. Transformation begins not with grand gestures but with tiny moments of awareness. Every morning presents an invisible crossroads, a chance to either reinforce an old, limiting identity or initiate a new, empowered reality. The weapon in this unseen battle is not strength or effort, but speed. Specifically, the ability to catch and replace poverty thoughts within seconds of their appearance. The first key is vigilance. The mind, accustomed to habitual loops, will default to familiar narratives unless interrupted. Therefore, immediately upon waking, an inner observer must come online. Notice the very first thought without engaging it emotionally. Simply observe. Is it expansive, filled with possibility, rooted in confidence? Or is it constricting, echoing doubt, lack, and fear? The question acts as a powerful filter. Is this thought expanding my life, or shrinking it? Expansion signals alignment with abundance. Contraction reveals entanglement with scarcity. This quick audit does not require analysis, justification, or argument. It demands only honesty. Once a poverty thought is detected, speed is critical. Delay allows old patterns to solidify. Rationalizing, debating, or tolerating limiting beliefs, even for a few minutes, gives them renewed life. Instead, immediate action severs their momentum. The chosen method is replacement. Consciously inserting a new declaration that contradicts the old scarcity programming. Speak the new truth aloud with conviction. This is not who I am anymore. I am becoming wealth. I am guided, supported, and financially free. Vocalizing this affirmation activates multiple levels of the mind: auditory, verbal, emotional, energetic, making the new belief more vivid and harder for the subconscious to ignore. Speaking with emotional certainty supercharges the replacement process, embedding the new frequency deeper than mere passive thinking could. This entire intervention, from awareness to replacement, takes about 5 seconds. 5 seconds that, repeated daily, have the power to rewire years, sometimes decades, of inherited poverty consciousness. These moments create small cracks in the mental walls built over a lifetime, allowing new light to flood in. Consistency magnifies the effect. Each time a poverty thought is caught and replaced swiftly, the brain weakens the neural pathway supporting scarcity and strengthens the circuitry of abundance. Over time, the mind begins to favor empowering thoughts by default. What was once conscious effort becomes automatic identity. Mastering this technique requires commitment, but not perfection. Some days, poverty thoughts will slip through unnoticed. Some mornings, the pull of old narratives will feel stronger. That is part of the process. Progress lies not in never falling, but in rising faster each time. Each successful 5-second intervention is a vote cast for the future self you are becoming. This simple practice also cultivates a powerful side effect: trust. Trust in your ability to steer your own mind. Trust in your capacity to choose your reality, moment by moment. Trust that wealth is not just a possibility, but an inevitability for those who master their inner dialogue. Imagine the compound effect: hundreds of mornings, thousands of first thoughts caught and transmuted. Each small victory, stacking invisibly, gradually reshapes belief systems, emotional setpoints, and finally, material circumstances. No massive overhaul required. Just relentless, 5-second acts of self-creation. Catching and replacing poverty thoughts transforms you from a passive participant in your life story to the deliberate author of your destiny. Poverty consciousness thrives in unconsciousness. Prosperity consciousness thrives in conscious creation. Change doesn't require waiting for perfect conditions, outside approval, or miraculous luck. It requires only the courage to seize the first thought, redirect it, and declare a new reality. One powerful, decisive moment at a time. In 5 seconds, a thought can either chain you to yesterday or launch you into a future you once thought impossible. Master those 5 seconds, and you master everything. Morning mental reprogramming. A simple daily ritual. Mornings possess a sacred power few recognize. The mind, freshly awakened from the realm of dreams, is pliable, vulnerable, and extraordinarily receptive. In these first fragile minutes, you hold the chisel that will sculpt your internal reality, and, inevitably, your external life. Through a simple, intentional ritual practice consistently, you can dismantle old limitations and install a wealth consciousness that magnetizes prosperity. The process begins with discipline. Upon waking, resist the conditioned urge to reach for your device. The screen drags attention outward, scattering focus and handing emotional control to algorithms, notifications, and outside noise. Instead, anchor yourself inward. Protect the purity of your mental space before external influences invade. Close your eyes. Take a deliberate, deep breath, filling your lungs slowly and fully. Feel the oxygen awaken your body, energizing each cell. As you exhale, allow tension, fear, and yesterday's residue to melt away. With each conscious breath, you reclaim sovereignty over your internal state. Now, smile. This small, intentional act sends a biochemical signal to your brain that you are safe, abundant, and victorious. Smiling initiates a cascade of positive emotions, priming your mind for empowerment. It softens resistance, opens your heart, and prepares your nervous system to receive elevated states of being. With your energy stabilized, speak aloud a powerful wealth affirmation. Choose words that resonate deeply with your highest vision of yourself. Declarations like, "I am the architect of my abundance," or "Prosperity flows effortlessly to me," ignite the subconscious with images and emotions aligned with success. Speak not as a wishful thinker, but as one stating an undeniable reality. After affirming, transition seamlessly into visualization. Close your eyes and immerse yourself in the vivid, sensory-rich world of your desired life. See the home, the travels, the contributions, the joyful relationships, the effortless abundance surrounding you. Feel the emotions associated with having it all now. Gratitude, pride, love, exhilaration. Engage sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Make it real inside your mind. This entire ritual, remarkably, requires only about 60 seconds. Yet those 60 seconds possess the force to alter the trajectory of an entire day, and, through repetition, an entire life. Energy builds momentum. Mental pictures carve new neural pathways. Emotional states magnetize corresponding experiences. Consistency is the catalyst. Repetition wires the new identity into your subconscious blueprint. Performing this ritual daily for 30 days engraves a new dominant frequency within you. Doubt weakens. Hope strengthens. Scarcity thinking dissolves. Prosperity consciousness rises. You no longer merely wish for wealth. You embody it energetically. As your energy shifts, so do your behaviors. Without force, you'll notice subtle changes. Increased confidence, greater opportunities, elevated conversations, bolder decisions. Reality, always a mirror of your internal world, begins responding differently. Money flows more easily. Solutions appear effortlessly. Allies and mentors materialize at precisely the right moments. Skeptics may scoff at the simplicity of this practice, seeking complexity where transformation demands only sincerity and consistency. But the truth remains immutable. Thoughts shape existence. Rituals anchor those thoughts into reality. And mornings, sacred and silent, offer the clearest channel for planting seeds of wealth, growth, and limitless possibility. You are not rewriting your mind with complexity. You are restoring your natural state of abundance through simplicity. Breath, smile, declare, envision, and watch as your internal garden of prosperity blooms beyond imagination. Control the first 60 seconds. Command the next 24 hours. Master the 30-day cycle. Wealth becomes not a distant goal but a living, breathing extension of who you already are. Every morning, your empire is built, or abandoned, in silence. Choose wisely. The silent sabotage of negative self-talk. There is an invisible enemy that lurks within the minds of millions. A voice so familiar that it often goes unnoticed, yet so destructive that it quietly shapes entire lives of limitation. This enemy is negative self-talk. More devastating than any economic downturn, more crippling than any external circumstance, negative self-talk sabotages potential at the source. The mind. When you wake up and the first thought that whispers is, "I can't do this," the sabotage has already begun. Without resistance, this idea seeps into your emotional bloodstream, draining energy, sapping enthusiasm, and dulling ambition before the day even starts. Repeated over days, weeks, and years, these silent assassins build an internal reality where dreams feel unreachable and success seems reserved for others. The danger lies in the familiarity. Because these thoughts often sound like our own voice, they slip past defenses undetected. They pose as rational caution, realistic expectations, or humility. But make no mistake, negative self-talk is none of these. It is a programmed distortion, a relic of past wounds, societal conditioning, and inherited fears. Left unchallenged, it operates with ruthless efficiency, keeping you small, doubtful, and disengaged from your true power. Every time you internally mutter, "I'm not good enough," you erect an invisible wall between yourself and your dreams. Each repetition pours concrete into that wall, making it harder to break through later.
Opportunities are not lost because they didn't exist. They are lost because the mind was too clouded to see them, or too paralyzed to act. This inner dialogue influences everything. How you carry yourself, the risks you're willing to take, the relationships you build, the money you attract. It sets the thermostat of your life, determining how much success, love, health, and abundance you feel worthy of receiving. The wealthiest, happiest, and most fulfilled individuals did not arrive at their realities by accident. They consciously or unconsciously mastered their inner language. They rewrote the script running in their minds. They refused to let the voice of fear narrate their story. Instead, they taught themselves a new dialect, one of strength, possibility, and certainty. When faced with challenges, they do not say, "I can't handle this." They affirm, "I am equipped for this." When opportunities arise, they do not murmur, "I'm not ready." They declare, "I am prepared and worthy." When failures happen, they do not internalize shame. They proclaim, "This is growth. I move forward stronger." The difference between failure and success often boils down to who you allow to speak inside your mind. Every thought is either constructing your empire or demolishing it. Every internal word is either nourishing your future or poisoning it. Yet awareness is the first step toward liberation. You must become the guardian of your mental environment. Monitor your inner dialogue as fiercely as a king protects his kingdom. Notice the tone, the assumptions, the unconscious scripts running beneath your actions. When a negative thought surfaces, because it inevitably will, you must not passively accept it. You must confront it immediately. Challenge its validity. Ask yourself, is this belief absolutely true? Or is it a recycled fear that no longer serves me? 9 times out of 10, you will discover it is baseless, a ghost story from an outdated chapter of your life. Then, replace it deliberately. Not with vague positivity, but with targeted, powerful, identity-shaping declarations. Speak affirmations that match the future you are creating, not the limitations you are escaping. For example, when the thought arises, "I'm not smart enough," replace it with, "I have everything I need within me to succeed." When you hear, "I don't deserve wealth," counter with, "Abundance is my natural state, and I claim it now." When you think, "I always fail," assert, "Every step I take is leading me to greater mastery and victory." This is not about denying reality or ignoring areas for improvement. True confidence recognizes weaknesses and commits to growth. But it does so from a foundation of empowerment, not self-condemnation. You cannot build an extraordinary life on a foundation of self-hate. You can only build it on a foundation of self-respect, compassion, and unwavering belief in your own capacity. Every morning, you stand at a crossroads. One path is paved by old narratives of insufficiency, the other by bold declarations of destiny. Choosing your inner words consciously isn't just motivational fluff, it is life or death for your dreams. Over time, your brain rewires itself based on the language you consistently use. Thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs become behaviors. Behaviors create habits. Habits sculpt destiny. Changing your self-talk initiates a domino effect that ultimately reconstructs your entire experience of life. Do not underestimate the power of even one shift. Catching a single destructive thought and replacing it can change the decisions you make that day. Different decisions compound into different outcomes. Different outcomes craft a different life. Imagine waking up each morning and greeting yourself not with criticism, but with encouragement. Imagine facing challenges with a mind trained to seek solutions, not fear problems. Imagine walking through the world radiating a silent confidence so strong that it magnetizes wealth, opportunity, and joy to you effortlessly. This is not imagination. This is a choice. The sabotage stops when you decide it stops. The internal revolution begins the moment you no longer permit a fearful voice to dictate your worth or your future. Your mind is the most valuable real estate you will ever own. Guard it like treasure. Cultivate it like a sacred garden. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you love unconditionally, because your destiny is listening. The most powerful investment you can make is not in stocks, real estate, or gold. It is in mastering the language of your own mind. Silence the saboteur. Empower the creator within you. Wealth, success, fulfillment, they are not reserved for a chosen few. They are reserved for those brave enough to rewrite the script playing between their ears. Today, choose words that honor the future you deserve. Let your mind become a cathedral of strength, not a prison of doubt. The world you desire is waiting for the voice within you to rise and claim it. Wealth is a frequency. Tune in first thing in the morning. Wealth is not random. Prosperity does not arrive by accident, nor does it reward mere labor without consciousness. Wealth is, at its core, a vibration, an energetic frequency vibrating throughout the universe. Those who live abundantly are not simply luckier, smarter, or harder working. They are tuned in. They resonate with the signal of prosperity. They have aligned their inner world to match the abundance they seek. Each morning, you stand before an invisible dial, like a radio waiting to lock onto a station. That dial is your mind. Your first thoughts upon waking are the hand that turns the dial either toward lack or abundance, fear or faith, doubt or destiny. Whichever station you lock onto in those first sacred moments determines what you will hear, feel, experience, and manifest throughout the rest of your day. Energy is information in motion. Thoughts carry vibrational signatures. Emotions amplify those frequencies. When you awaken and immediately think, "I'm overwhelmed, I'm behind," or "I'm not enough," you are tuning into a low-frequency station broadcasting scarcity, anxiety, and resistance. Without realizing it, you invite those same energies into your actions, conversations, and results. But when you consciously tune yourself into gratitude, certainty, and vision, you align with the broadcast of wealth. You shift your entire energetic field to a higher frequency, a frequency where creativity flows, opportunities reveal themselves, and abundance becomes not a distant hope but a living reality. Tuning in is not passive. It requires intention, awareness, and discipline. It means refusing to let the static of yesterday's worries pollute today's potential. It means guarding the first thoughts of the morning as fiercely as a musician tunes their instrument before a performance. You cannot expect to play a symphony of success if your internal strings are out of tune. Imagine yourself as a living receiver, capable of connecting to infinite frequencies. Some frequencies vibrate with fear, competition, lack. Others pulse with creativity, trust, and limitless possibility. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs determine which broadcast you intercept. Wealth exists on a high vibrational channel. It sings a song of ease, flow, contribution, vision, boldness, gratitude. When you match that song internally, you become a magnet. You pull into your experience the people, ideas, circumstances, and inspirations necessary for the creation of material prosperity. Tuning in each morning is about resetting yourself to your highest potential. It's about overriding the default programming that might otherwise drag you down into old patterns of struggle. It's about declaring, before the world makes a single demand on you, that you are sovereign over your energy. The tools for tuning in are simple but powerful. Gratitude. Before opening your eyes fully, list 3 things you are profoundly thankful for. Gratitude instantly elevates your vibration to the wealth frequency. Declaration. Speak aloud powerful affirmations that affirm abundance is your natural state. Words are vibrational instruments. Use them to calibrate your mind. Vision. Spend 60 seconds vividly imagining the life you are building. Feel the emotions as if it were already real. Emotion is the accelerant of frequency. Stillness. Protect your mind from outside interference during this sacred window. Delay checking devices, emails, news. The world can wait while you tune yourself properly. Through repetition, tuning becomes instinctual. Just as a master musician no longer struggles to find the right notes, you will begin to automatically align yourself with abundance each morning. The more consistent your practice, the more effortlessly your external world reshapes itself to match your internal song. It is important to recognize that tuning into the wealth frequency is not about blind optimism. It is about energetic mastery. It is about refusing to allow circumstances to dictate your state. It is about embodying the vibration of solutions rather than problems, expansion rather than contraction, growth rather than stagnation. Consider this. Every financial breakthrough you have ever dreamed of already exists on a frequency that you can access. There are no locked doors, only untuned receivers. Align your inner world, and the outer world must reflect it. When you shift your frequency, you don't need to chase wealth. Wealth begins to chase you. Opportunities present themselves seemingly out of nowhere. Connections form effortlessly.
Ideas spark at precisely the right moment. Resources appear exactly when needed. This is not magic. It is resonance. Your wealth journey is not a matter of grinding harder or sacrificing more. It is a matter of aligning more precisely. It is about becoming the person who naturally, effortlessly, consistently broadcasts the signal that wealth responds to. Every morning, without exception, you are either reinforcing an energetic pattern of scarcity or strengthening a pattern of abundance. There is no neutral. Energy flows wherever intention goes. If you wake and immediately think about problems, you perpetuate problems. If you wake and immediately celebrate possibilities, you create possibilities. Your frequency, tuned in those first precious moments, orchestrates the symphony of your day, and by extension, your destiny. The process is simple, but its impact is seismic. Wake up with reverence. Choose your thoughts with precision. Align your energy with deliberate gratitude. Declare your abundance with authority. Visualize your future with vivid emotion. Protect your mental state fiercely. Over time, the gap between the life you have and the life you envision shrinks. You realize that wealth was never out there. It was always a vibration you needed to match from within. From the moment you awaken, you are either tuning yourself into fear or tuning yourself into fortune. Choose fortune. Choose frequency. Choose wealth. Your future self, the one living in extraordinary abundance, is already broadcasting back to you. All you have to do is tune in. The morning mindset of millionaires. Millionaires do not stumble into wealth by coincidence. They do not hope their way into prosperity. They engineer it. They shape their mornings with meticulous intention, understanding that every great fortune begins not in a bank account, but in the architecture of the mind. The first minutes after waking are sacred. While most people drift into the day reactively, checking notifications, complaining internally, replaying yesterday's worries, the wealthy move differently. They guard their mental space as fiercely as a warrior protects the gates to a kingdom. They know the first thoughts of the morning are the seeds from which the entire day, and eventually their entire life, will grow. For a millionaire, the morning is a canvas, and the mind is the brush. Every stroke matters. Each thought is chosen with precision. They do not wake up wondering how the day will go. They wake up deciding how it will unfold. There is no randomness. There is no mental clutter. There is clarity, purpose, and design. Gratitude is not a casual practice for them. It is a discipline. Before their feet touch the floor, they summon a deep sense of thankfulness. Not out of obligation, but because they understand that gratitude is the energetic foundation upon which abundance is built. They recognize that by appreciating what already exists, they signal readiness to receive more. Visualization is not left to chance. Millionaires close their eyes and vividly imagine their future realities as if they already exist. They see the meetings going perfectly, the deals closing seamlessly, the investments multiplying, the impact expanding. They do not merely hope things work out. They create mental blueprints that their actions later follow. Declarations are spoken aloud, not mumbled in doubt. Affirmations are not shallow mantras but powerful commands issued to their subconscious mind. Statements like, "I create wealth effortlessly," "I am a magnet for opportunities," or "every decision I make increases my fortune," are not recited mindlessly. They are infused with emotion, certainty, and authority. Every morning is a ceremony of alignment. Millionaires align their thoughts with their goals, their emotions with their vision, and their energy with their highest potential. They refuse to let the chaos of the world invade their internal order before they have set the tone themselves. They do not consume passively. They curate what they read, listen to, and expose their minds to in those critical first moments. Inspirational texts, powerful audio, and strategic plans replace news cycles, gossip, or fear-based narratives. Their mornings are a fortress, impenetrable to negativity, distraction, and doubt. Millionaires ask themselves powerful questions upon waking. What can I create today? How can I serve at a higher level? What bold move will bring me closer to my dreams? What am I excited to accomplish today? These questions focus their minds on creation, contribution, and expansion rather than on problems, limitations, or complaints. They do not wait for motivation to find them. They generate it. They understand that waiting to feel ready is a trap. Instead, they condition themselves to act despite feelings,
knowing that momentum births motivation, not the other way around. Self-image is cultivated first thing in the morning. They see themselves not as struggling entrepreneurs or hopeful dreamers, but as decisive leaders, strategic investors, impactful creators. They embody the identity of success before any external validation. They are the millionaires mentally long before they are materially. Consistency is non-negotiable. It is not what they do occasionally that defines them. It is what they do every single morning. Ritual becomes routine, and routine becomes identity. Over time, these small, seemingly invisible mental practices compound into massive external results. Millionaires know that doubt is a luxury they cannot afford. Waking up and entertaining thoughts of fear, lack, or uncertainty is not an option. They have trained themselves to immediately pivot from any disempowering thought to one of strength, possibility, and certainty. Time is treated with reverence. They know that each morning is an irreplaceable asset, an opportunity to plant seeds that will bear fruit for years to come. They do not waste this sacred window snoozing alarms, scrolling endlessly, or replaying regrets. They rise with purpose, move with clarity, and act with conviction. They understand that the world does not reward the talented, the lucky, or even the hardworking. It rewards the aligned. Alignment begins with thought. Therefore, they master their mornings to master their destinies. To think like a millionaire is to embody wealth mentally long before it is visible physically. It is to choose thoughts that build bridges instead of walls. It is to act from faith rather than fear, to speak from power rather than hesitation, and to move through life with the knowing that abundance is inevitable because it has already been claimed internally. If you want to mirror the mindset of millionaires, begin where they begin, at the beginning of the day. Before distractions clamor for your attention, before the demands of the world pull you outward, turn inward and shape your reality with deliberate thought. Wake up and think like someone who expects to win. Wake up and feel like someone who is already successful. Wake up and act like someone who commands their destiny with every breath. Each morning, you have a choice: to drift passively through inherited patterns of mediocrity or to design consciously the architecture of greatness. Millionaires choose the latter. Relentlessly, repeatedly, unapologetically, and so can you. When you train your mind to wake up in wealth consciousness, the material world eventually has no choice but to rearrange itself to match the frequency you have chosen. Mind first, money second, thought first, fortune second. The world belongs to those who wake up and claim it, starting from the very first thought. One thought can change everything. Will tomorrow be the day? There exists a single pivotal moment between sleeping and waking, a thin, electric sliver of time where destiny is sculpted. Most dismiss it without notice, but the wise, the awakened, understand. Within that fragile instant lies the power to alter the course of an entire lifetime. Everything you crave, everything you envision, hinges on the quality of a solitary thought. Imagine it: one adjustment, one conscious decision upon opening your eyes, one internal command that dismisses years of limitation and invites a flood of abundance. This is not poetic exaggeration. It is the raw, untapped truth of human potential. Thought is the architect of reality. One properly chosen thought can rearrange every outcome, every connection, every opportunity awaiting you beyond the horizon. Each morning, countless people unknowingly surrender their future to their past. They wake up dragging old disappointments, stale fears, expired doubts into a brand new day, allowing yesterday's failures to cast shadows over today's possibilities. They do not recognize that tomorrow can be different, profoundly, radically, permanently different, if they choose differently in that sacred first breath of consciousness. It is not complexity that blocks transformation. It is habit. It is autopilot. It is the unconscious loyalty to patterns that no longer serve. But one thought, conscious, chosen, deliberate, can disrupt all of that. One seed planted in the fertile soil of a brand new morning can grow into forests of prosperity. The real question is not whether change is possible. It is whether you will seize the moment tomorrow when it arrives. Will you hear the old voices murmuring, "Nothing ever changes," and obey? Or will you rise in fierce defiance, planting a new declaration into the silence of morning? Picture the scene. Your alarm sounds. Instead of reaching for old stories of struggle, you anchor immediately into a bold, soul-powered affirmation. You proclaim your right to wealth, your alignment with success, your inevitability of triumph. No negotiation, no hesitation, just pure, sovereign choice.
When you consciously select your first thought, you are doing more than being positive. You are initiating a new frequency. You are broadcasting a new signal into the quantum field where possibilities reside, waiting to respond to your intention. Reality is malleable. It bends, reshapes, recalibrates itself around your dominant vibration. That vibration starts with thought. The past only has authority when you grant it permission to speak first. The future waits patiently, respectfully, for your invitation. Tomorrow, when consciousness returns, you hold the invitation in your hand. You can let familiar doubt RSVP. Or you can send an unwavering message to the universe. I am no longer who I was. I am now who I choose to become. Think about it. All the wealth you seek, the love you desire, the opportunities you dream of, they are not outside, locked away behind gates you cannot reach. They orbit around you, magnetized not by force, but by alignment. Alignment happens first internally, in the mind, in the moment, in the thought. I was born for wealth. I think wealth. I live wealth. These are not empty words. They are keys. When spoken with conviction, they unlock new doors in dimensions unseen but deeply real. They trigger sequences of events, chances, introductions, insights that otherwise remain hidden from those who think small, fearfully, reactively. The power lies not in repeating empty phrases, but in believing them as you say them. Feel the truth vibrate through every cell. Feel yourself stepping into a new skin, a new timeline, a new way of existing where lack is an ancient memory, not a present reality. One thought can be the hinge upon which the door of a lifetime swings open. But thoughts must be claimed. They must be owned. They must be chosen with the same seriousness that a general chooses a battle plan, the same intention an architect uses to draw blueprints for skyscrapers. Passive mornings create passive lives. Active, conscious mornings create revolutionary lives. The difference between $1 million life and a life of frustration often narrows down to a moment's choice, a thought birthed in the fragile dawn. Consider this. When you awaken tomorrow, you are standing at the border between two worlds. Behind you, everything that has been. Ahead of you, everything that could be. In that moment, will you face backward? Or will you step forward into unseen greatness? The first thought you entertain tomorrow morning will not be trivial. It will either reinforce the fortress of old limitations or begin to construct the mansion of new abundance. It will either replay a story of confinement or script a saga of expansion. In that sacred instant, you become the author. Will tomorrow be the day you rewrite everything? Will it be the day you finally cross the invisible threshold where all previous doubts dissolve and a new identity is born? Will it be the morning when you finally refuse to answer when limitation knocks? No one else can make this choice for you. No guru, no book, no seminar can insert the thought into your mind. Only you possess the sovereign power to think differently at the dawn of a new day. And once you do, once you plant that thought with full belief, the world has no choice but to bend, stretch, yield, and conform to match the new you. So tonight, as you drift into sleep, set your intention. Tomorrow, when awareness stirs, meet the moment with courage. Tomorrow, when the light pierces your eyes, do not defer to the past. Let your soul answer first. Say it, not with timid hope but with unshakable certainty. I was born for wealth. I think wealth. I live wealth. And then, watch as mountains move, rivers part, doors swing open, and the life you once imagined steps forward to greet you. Because one thought can change everything, and tomorrow could be that day. If this message spoke to your soul, now it's your time to act. Subscribe to the channel I Am Prosperous and join a community that believes in the power of thoughts and the force of true transformation. Leave a like to show the universe that you choose to prosper, and share your opinion in the comments. What thought will you choose tomorrow to change everything? Remember, your new life begins with a new thought. And it begins now. A 5-second message. Are you in debt? Want to know how to always have money? After watching this video, click the first link below, in the description or the pinned comment. Discover the Live Always with Money method. Find out the 10 steps that are changing lives. Link in the description and pinned comment. And for you, the one who knows you were born to be a millionaire, to be rich, I invite you to discover how to get rich through the power of thought. Access the method in the description. Golden Mindset, 30 Steps to Wealth Through the Power of the Mind.